Hello, Eagle Nation. Welcome back to episode 9 of Eye on the Eagles, sponsored by J and Fay Construction Company. I am Darien Minor, and today we're starting our episode with men's basketball head coach Bill Sloan. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I feel like you're doing better after this past weekend. For your team to bounce back off of a 2-game kind of skid. Friday, you started your KCAC season with Bethel at home, and you squeaked out a good 2-point win against a tough team. How does that feel for you?
Well, the 2-game skid was kind because we got it handed to us twice. But I think the children didn't enjoy that very much, so decided they were going to fix that. So they fixed that on Friday and Saturday. Bethel's good. I mean, they had 2 Division I transfers and the leading rebounder in the nation from last year, and had just beaten Oklahoma Wesleyan, who was picked to win our league. So yeah, kids toughed that one out. If we'd have made some free throws at the end, it wouldn't have been as close as it was. I mean, it was an 8 to 10 point game at the end instead of a 2. We just couldn't make any free throws down the stretch, but it got done, and that's the important thing.
You preach about toughness a lot when you talk to the team, and they kind of showed that going to Peru on Saturday. Undermanned, you guys were down 3 starters, and you still came out with what we had, and you got a win. How does that happen for a team so young?
Yeah, we do talk about toughness a lot, and people unfortunately equate toughness to pushing somebody or talking stupid or something like that. That's got nothing to do with it. Toughness is being able to do what you have to do when you have to do it, and that's just not in basketball. That's in your entire life. When it comes time to pay your mortgage company doesn't care if you got a sore ankle or you've been laid off work or what. They don't care. So it's the same concept down there on the floor. You got to do what you have to do when you have to do it, and that's what toughness is. And our kids we got down on got out early, got to a good start, and kind of punched them in the mouth a little bit, and then we kind of didn't play very well down the last couple of minutes of the first half and let them catch back up, and then they got out from us. I think we were down 13 with about 4.5 minutes to go, and we just kind of got some stops and made some shots, and it kind of just snowballed and rolled, and we ended up being able to get that done. Like you said, down, we had 3 starters sitting over there in sweats, and I had to play some kids that hadn't played a lot, and play some other guys some extended minutes that hadn't, and it all worked out in the end.
Like you said, you have to play some guys that don't normally get that time. There was a lot of big shots hit down the stretch, a lot of consistent play throughout the game from guys who normally don't get that chance. How do you feel knowing that now you can trust more of your team to provide when you guys need it if something does go wrong in a normal game situation?
Yeah, that's a good point. That we know we can go a little deeper now if we have to. It also those guys that didn't play. I think we found that we don't have to play them as many minutes. That we can shorten their minutes and play these other guys more minutes too. So, not that there's anything wrong with being hurt. I mean, that happens. That's part of the game. But you can only play the guys that are suited up, and the guys that suit up are the ones that get to play. And the more you suit up, the more you're going to play. So, so we'll see how it goes. But I think we can play deeper, definitely now than I thought we could before. But some guys that Jalen had started some, so him being in there is not a big deal because he knows exactly what we do and how we do it and how we want it done. Dylan's the same way. You know, he's played a lot and knows how we're supposed to play. So, you know, but some of those other guys that played extended minutes or played more than they normally had, that's a good thing. You know, that's a good thing.
Well, your next matchup is against Tabor, and they don't seem to be the same team that they were in years past. What's kind of the key to keep the Apple Eagles on track and continue this winning streak?
You know, if we defend and we play hard and we block out and give ourselves a chance to rebound and take care of the basketball and make free throws, I mean, it doesn't matter where you play or who you play. Those things travel. So if we do those things right, we give ourselves a chance every night, no matter who we play. Tabor is definitely better than they were last year. They're 3-0. Their last game, I believe they beat Sterling, I think was the game I was watching today. You watch so much film, you kind of forget who's playing who at times. But yeah, they're better. They're big and athletic, and it's pretty much a different team than it has been the last couple of years. So they're markedly improved from last year. So it won't be easy. You know, I don't know how many of those guys that are hurt will be back. I have no idea. I know Trey will be out still. He has a pretty significant injury. I don't even think we're sure exactly what it is yet for him. But the other two had ankle sprains, so we'll see. You know how that progresses. You know, we'll just the kids they're playing hard and they played a lot better the last couple nights and I think those two unpleasant outcomes they took woke us up a little bit. So it's funny how that works sometimes. You know, if you're a real player, you don't enjoy those kind of things if you're a competitor. So. And I think we have some of those guys. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, those losses must have woke something up because these guys started playing defense really well. Those last two games that we won, we kept them under that 80, 70, 60 point range. Right. And we won some really close games. So hopefully we can keep that going.
Yeah, I was watching the Peru game again this morning, and I can't remember the exact time frame that we held them to us, you know, with so many stops without them getting a basket, and we scored a lot down the stretch in that game with real time. It was like we scored like 24 points in the last 4 minutes and change, I think, and then overtime. So. We played really well down the stretch in that game. Like I said, made some big shots and got some big stops. You know, I mean, I have to say, you know, Hunter, for a freshman, you know, he does some things that you know, freshmen will do, but he can really play, and he's not scared, and he's tough, and he's in the right place, and you know, he got a big block at the end of that game. That you know, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about that win if, you know, he hadn't done that. So, but there were a ton of big plays in that game. I mean, you can't just focus on one play. You know, there's 100 possessions in a game, and all of them matter, and just the ones at the end get all the credit or the blame. So, but he did a really good job. I think he had 26 or something. I think.
26, yeah.
You know, hit some really big shots and drove to the basket and got a couple of and-ones and you know, his toughness for a freshman kid of how to play and when to play, when and how to do what he's supposed to do is pretty impressive. So he's going to have a really good career here, and I'm glad he's playing for us and not somebody else.
Yeah. And we are back with head women's soccer coach Katie LaForge. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to talk about your team because these girls are riding a really strong hot streak of 3 games in a row, which is capped off this week by your win against Tabor with a 1-0 victory. How does it feel to know that your girls are playing so well, so consistently?
It's been really, really nice considering how tough it's been with all the changes in the schedule, due to all of the protocols that we have to kind of work around. It would be easy to just say, oh, it's too tough, it's too different. But the girls they deserve every single win that they've got so far, and to be on this hot streak. They've just worked so hard, and like I said, it's been a longer season than normal for us. We're usually kind of used to the more back-to-back games, so having one game a week has been nice. But we typically, would be done by now this time of year. So it's been I'm just really happy for them, because like I said, I feel like they've deserved it and played well enough to be in this position right now.
Yeah, let's knock on some wood to make sure we don't ruin it.
Yeah, exactly.
A big factor in you guys' success this recently has been the play of Madison Baker, who had 8 saves in this last game against Tabor and won NAIA National Defensive Player of the Week. What can you say for someone who has stepped up as much as Madison has?
Well, I like to tell her that I've been telling her she's that good since her freshman year. So it's nice for her to be getting that kind of recognition. She does have a huge role, just being our starting goalkeeper and getting to play significant amount of minutes. So she's very impactful, given the position she's playing, and also because she's an upperclassman now. But she just handled everything literally that was thrown at her on Saturday, and we were playing in a pretty it was a very windy day, so the wind was coming at her in the first half, and we really needed her to step up, and she definitely did. And she's had like you said, in the last 3 games had to make some saves for us, and it can be, and the score lines have been within 1 goal of the last 3 games. So you're looking at, if she doesn't make that save, that you're tied, and now you're going to overtime, or and potentially it stays tied, or you lose, or potentially you win. But she's not even putting us in that situation. She's literally saving us.
So I know you've talked to Madison probably by now. How excited is she, and how excited are you for her as her coach?
Well, in all honesty, she told me she spit out her hot chocolate when I texted her. So she's already a very high energy person. So it was pretty. It made me literally laugh out loud when she sent me that. So she's really excited. I think a lot of what happens for athletes is based on their confidence level, and slowly but surely she's really kind of been on the upswing with confidence. So this has been really nice for her to get that kind of national recognition, and being one of the first in the KCAC this season to get that recognition. So as a coach, I'm really proud of her. I've known actually Madison since she was about 12, so I've literally seen her grow up, and just really proud to finally be able to kind of give her what I've been telling her, literally, and to have an outside source kind of confirm that. It's a really proud coach moment for sure.
Well, that's great. Another player who contributed in large part to that win was Isabel Fox, who scored the game's only goal, and which was her first collegiate goal ever.
Yeah.
So I know that should be a confidence booster for her. What kind of play did you see from her, and how does her stepping up in that moment help the team as a whole?
Yeah, it's a fairly similar story to what Madison. They're both juniors, so they're both upperclassmen, have played in this conference, since the beginning with me. So they've seen the ups and downs, highs and lows. But they've been to every school now and seen their field. Know what to expect from the opponent, and having that kind of knowledge is very useful, especially in tight games like this. I've seen Isabel over the last month really step it up at practice significantly. So this was one of those times where I just had a really good feeling about her and wanting to have that feeling translate into minutes for her. So I just left her in, and she, when the ball dropped to her, it was literally like she had no fear in that moment. That was one of the most impressive parts was, we're getting to almost, 12 minutes left. So it's, a little bit of crunch time, and the goalkeeper comes flying out at you, and it was like it didn't even faze her. She was just very calm in that moment. And then, I won't say I jumped for joy, because I love when we score, right? I love that feeling, but I don't know, it was a little bit different for Issa, because like you said, it's her first goal, and I was excited to see that happen for her and for the team.
Welcome back to Eye on the Eagle, sponsored by J.M. Fahey Construction Company. We are here with the man in charge, our AD, Shawn Summe. How you doing?
I'm great, D. How are you doing?
I mean, I'm good. Spent a lot of time together, so we kind of knew that. But we just had a major ruling in the NAIA world that says that spring and winter sports, fall and winter sports are gonna get this year of eligibility back. That's big.
It is.
Especially in the COVID time that we're going through. What are probably some of the biggest advantages and disadvantages for this happening?
The advantages is some of our students take a little longer than 4 years to graduate. So they get their year back potentially, that they can play that next fall and be able to continue while they're getting their degree. Some of them will graduate in 4.5 years. Some might graduate in 5 years. Some take different times. Not everyone gets to go for 6 years like you.
Wow.
But, no, I'm teasing, Darien. I'm teasing. But that's the advantage. If we have some students that need to finish up some classes and get their degree, it allows them to compete still while doing it. I think disadvantage is some student athletes, they just decide they want to be that athlete, right? And they put off their graduation until that point. So, as much as we love to have them, at the same time, we want them to graduate. We want them to start their career. We don't want them to have to incur any more debt potentially. So that could be a little negative there. We would never tell someone, you need to come back. It's obviously a decision that they'll have to have with their parents to just kind of see where it's at. Another positive though, and like with you, right? I'm so glad to have you back this year and this year working on your MBA. That is a good thing. We do have a strong graduate program that some of those athletes that maybe want to work on a master's degree, maybe that gives them a little incentive to stay here and do that so they can play their sport here. We have a lot of student athletes that love Bethel University and they love the athletic department. So there's some positives there, but there's also, we want them to graduate and move on. We don't want them to put themselves in a hole. So it can be a really good thing. At the same time, I want to make sure that our students are educated on that when we have to have that conversation about that.
This is probably also I know a lot of our schedules in terms of sports this year have been fluid. You lose a lot of games, you reschedule a lot, you postpone quite a bit. For some kids that are in their senior season, that probably at some institutions don't even get to play, now they get a chance to have a season. What do you think that means for some of these athletes?
Yeah, I think, and that's a good thing, right? They do get a chance to have some closure to their college seasons. And I guess selfishly, when I answered that question, I didn't really think about other schools because I think the KCAC, we've done an admirable job as an athletic family to try to ensure that our student athletes do get to compete. But there are students across the country that had no choice in that matter, and their schools have decided that they're not going to compete this year. So, for those student athletes, that's a great thing.
How does this ruling affect recruitment going into the next year? Because a lot of people will keep a bulk of their seniors, their juniors, their whole team, when you would probably be shuffling out a lot of bodies.
Yeah, you used the great word, fluid, right? And I'm going to say that recruiting is going to be fluid as well. It's going to be changing. Recruiting is going to be different than we've ever seen it. The NJCAA, the junior colleges, community colleges, and the NCAA have made those decisions already too. So the amount of transfers potentially will be lower. Where I think that it can help us big time is with those high school kids. There's going to be some of those kids that are those fringe levels. Maybe they're being invited to be a walk-on at a Division I school or scholarship for a Division II school, that now those rosters got tighter. They don't have as many opportunities to bring students in. That's where I think that we could see a benefit and a boon in that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. So again, it's a fluid situation, and we'll know more come August when we have report date for all our student athletes.
Well, this is definitely something that will shake our sports world here for a while. I want to thank you for answering those questions.
Yeah.
But as you know, this is your first time sitting in the interviewee spot and not the interviewer. So we have some rapid fire questions for you to answer here.
Sounds great.
And you kind of give folks a little grief for not answering fast enough. So let's see how you do on
Put me on a stopwatch.
No, you guys hear that? Okay. You ready?
Yes.
What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Favorite restaurant?
Taco Bell.
On vacation, would you rather beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Best dressed coach in the athletic department?
Tim Hackett.
Favorite candy bar?
100 grand.
Favorite movie?
Four Brothers.
Favorite band / musical performer?
Yes, Jimmy Buffett.
Favorite TV show?
The Office. Friday Night Lights.
Got you.
Friday Night Lights.
Favorite last TV show that you binge watched?
Homeland.
Okay, so there you have it. You got the answers from the man in charge himself, Shawn Summe. We will see you in the next interview. Thank you for tuning in.